All right, everybody, welcome back to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at AI and the future of work.
Yeah, it's a big topic, and I think one that a lot of people are a little anxious about right now.
Yeah, I mean, especially like with all this new stuff coming out, Chat GPT,
Yeah.
I feel like I can't go anywhere without hearing about it and everything it can do.
Yeah, well, and I think that's part of it, right? It's moving so fast.
Yeah.
And it does seem like it can do a lot right in code, and I mean, people are even using it to like come up with ideas.
Yeah.
So, it is making people wonder, is this going to replace my job? Is this the beginning of the end?
Right. Are we all about to be out of work?
Yeah, but I think, instead of kind of going down that road of, doom and gloom, I think it's important to really look at this and think about, what we're seeing here is really kind of a major shift. And I know people say that all the time with technology, but
Right.
I think with AI, it really is, maybe akin to like the printing press or the Industrial Revolution.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But like,
Yeah.
what makes it so different from those other big changes?
Well, like I said, I think the speed is a big part of it. Like, look at ChatGPT. I mean, it went from, basically a tech demo to something that millions of people are using every day in a matter of months.
Right.
And it's not just ChatGPT. We're seeing these huge leaps forward in all kinds of different AI applications, and it's happening so fast.
Yeah, and I mean, the study that we looked at from the OECD, it did say there hasn't been massive job loss yet, but is that just because it's early? Is that about a change?
Well, I think it's interesting that you bring up the OECD report because actually I think it points to something pretty important,
Right.
which is that it's less about AI taking jobs and more about AI changing jobs.
Okay.
Like it's not necessarily this either or, humans or robots kind of situation. It's more about this idea of AI augmenting human work.
Right.
It's a tool that we can use to enhance our abilities and do things better and maybe even do things that we couldn't do before.
So, like, give me an example. How are we actually seeing this play out in the real world, this augmentation?
Sure. So let's take radiologists, for example.
Okay.
They're using AI now to help analyze medical images, and it's actually leading to a much higher rate of cancer detection.
Wow.
I mean, think about the AI is literally helping to save lives. And
Yeah.
it's not just in healthcare. I mean, journalists are using AI to help them brainstorm article ideas, to automate research tasks, even to help with coding.
Huh.
And that frees them up to spend more time on the actual storytelling, the things that humans are really good at.
Right. Right. So it's less about, robots coming for our jobs and more about AI becoming like a superpowered assistant for people in all sorts of fields.
Yeah, exactly. It's like giving everyone a chance to level up
Right.
and be more effective in what they do.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot more than the robot takeover scenario.
Yeah.
But okay, let's be real for a second. No technology is perfect, right? Right. What are some of the limitations here? I mean, there's got to be things AI can't do or things it doesn't do well.
Oh, absolutely. AI is not a magic bullet.
Okay.
It's very good at finding patterns and making predictions based on data, but it doesn't actually understand things like truth or accuracy.
Right.
It can make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes can be pretty big. So, we can't just blindly trust everything that an AI spits out, no matter how convincing it seems.
Yeah, it's like anything. You got to have that critical thinking. You can't just believe everything you see,
Exactly.
especially when it comes to technology, I think.
And that's, I think, a really important shift.
Yeah.
We're moving away from this idea of humans versus machines and into this world where success is really going to depend on how well we can work with AI,
Okay.
how well we can use it to our advantage while also understanding its limitations.
So it's more like a partnership than
Exactly.
a competition.
Yeah,
Okay. I like that framing a lot better.
good.
So we've talked about how, AI is this powerful tool. It can augment our work. It can help us solve these big problems. But like, how do we actually get ready for that?
Mhm.
What are the practical steps people can take to kind of prepare for this AI future?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think, one of the things that people often jump to is like, oh, do I need to learn how to code?
Yeah.
Do I need to be a data scientist?
Right.
And while those are definitely valuable skills, I don't think that's necessarily the only or even the main thing that people need to focus on.
Okay.
Remember we were talking about AI augmenting human work?
Right.
So think about the things that AI is really good at.
Yeah.
Things that are repetitive, things that involve a lot of data, things that are rule-based, data entry, generating reports, even certain aspects of legal research. These are all things that AI can potentially automate, which doesn't mean those jobs go away. It just means that they change.
Right. So it's not so much like robots are coming for my job. It's more like robots are coming for the parts of my job that I hate anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all the boring stuff.
Imagine you're a financial analyst,
Yep.
and instead of spending hours and hours crunching numbers in a spreadsheet, AI can take care of that for you.
Right.
And that frees you up to do, more strategic planning, to interact with clients, to really look at the big picture and identify trends, the kinds of things that require human intuition and insight.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like AI is this efficiency booster. It takes care of all the grunt work and lets us focus on the stuff that really requires our human skills.
Exactly. And it's not just limited to, white collar jobs either.
Okay.
I mean, think about manufacturing, for example. AI-powered robots can handle dangerous tasks, repetitive tasks.
Right.
Things that are risky for humans to do, and that improves safety and efficiency on the factory floor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it allows the human workers to focus on things like quality control, process optimization,
Yeah.
Even robot maintenance.
Right, like managing the robots.
Exactly. And those are jobs that require a whole new set of skills.
Right.
So again, it's not about replacing humans. It's about changing the nature of work, creating new roles, and requiring us to adapt and learn new things.
Right. Yeah, it's like this dance,
Yeah.
Between humans and machines, each one kind of playing to their strengths.
I like that analogy.
And working together.
Yeah, and I think when you have that kind of collaborative dance, you can get some really amazing results.
Okay.
I mean, look at healthcare.
Yeah.
AI is being used to analyze medical images, to help doctors with diagnoses, even to personalize treatment plans based on a patient's genetic makeup.
Wow.
I mean, this is incredible stuff, and it's not only improving patient care, it's also helping to address the growing shortage of healthcare professionals.
Oh, wow. So it's really tackling some of these big challenges that we're facing.
Exactly, and I think that's one of the most exciting things about this whole AI revolution.
Okay.
It's not just changing how we work, it's also pushing us to think bigger and bolder, to solve problems that we might not have been able to solve before.
It's almost like we're on the verge of this whole new era of innovation
I think we are.
where AI is this catalyst,
Yeah.
for all kinds of amazing breakthroughs.
I mean, think about it. AI can analyze these massive amounts of data. It can find patterns. It can make connections that humans would never be able to see on their own.
Right.
And that opens up possibilities for, breakthroughs in drug discovery and disease prediction and even climate change modeling.
Wow. Yeah, it's hard to even imagine like where this could all lead.
I know, it's exciting.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get real for a minute, because while we're talking about all this amazing potential, we've got to acknowledge that there are also potential downsides.
Yeah.
Even the most powerful tools can be misused.
Absolutely. And I think, one of the things we need to be mindful of is the potential for job displacement in certain sectors.
Okay.
While AI is likely to create new jobs, as we've been discussing,
Right.
some existing roles may become obsolete as the technology advances. And I think it's important to be proactive about that.
Yeah.
To anticipate those shifts and to provide support for workers who might be affected.
So it's not all, sunshine and roses. There are going to be bumps in the road.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we need to be prepared for that. Not just from a technological standpoint, but also from a social and economic perspective.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Okay.
We can't just sit back and wait for the future to happen to us. We need to be actively shaping it, making sure that this AI revolution benefits everyone,
Right.
and not just a select few. And that starts with education awareness and a willingness to adapt.
So what can people do, our listeners, what can they do to kind of prepare themselves for this AI-driven world besides, embracing lifelong learning, which I know
Yeah.
you've talked about before?
Yeah. And that's still key, I think. But
Yeah.
but it's not just about, acquiring technical skills. It's also about really focusing on those uniquely human qualities that AI can't replicate.
Okay.
Things like creativity and critical thinking and complex problem solving, emotional intelligence, communication, empathy.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that are going to set us apart in an AI-powered world.
Right. It's like that old saying, it's not what, it's who you are.
Exactly.
And those human qualities become even more valuable when you have technology handling all the routine tasks.
Right.
It frees us up to really focus on what makes us human.
And who knows, maybe this whole AI thing will ultimately push us to be more human, to connect on a deeper level, and to really embrace our potential.
Okay. I like that that's a much more positive way to think about it than, robots taking over the world.
Yeah.
It's like AI is a catalyst for human evolution.
Exactly. We're not just adapting to a new technology, we're redefining what it means to be human in a world where technology is such an integral part of our lives.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, and I think that's something we'll continue to explore as we wrap up this deep dive. Okay, so we've talked about AI, transforming jobs and giving us these new superpowers and even helping us solve these huge global problems. But I think the biggest thing for me is realizing that AI isn't this like scary thing we have to be afraid of. You know,
Yeah.
it's a tool. It's all about how we use it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We're not just passengers on this AI train. We're the ones driving it. We're the ones who decide where it goes, and that's a pretty exciting thought.
It is exciting, but it also kind of makes you realize like, wow, we have big responsibility here.
Yeah.
If we're the ones shaping this future with AI, we got to make sure it's a future we actually want to live in.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head there. The development of AI, the way we use it, it has to be guided by ethical considerations. We have to make sure it's fair, it's transparent, it's accountable. We can't just let it run wild.
Right. It's like we're at this crossroads. We get to decide what kind of future we're building. And that's both amazing and a little bit terrifying.
It is a time of massive change, and there's a lot of unknowns, but, I'm optimistic. I think humans are pretty good at figuring things out. We've gone through these kinds of technological revolutions before, and we've come out the other side. And who knows, maybe AI will actually lead us to a better world, a more equitable world, a more fulfilling world.
Okay. I like that optimism a lot. So as we wrap up this deep dive into AI and the future of work, what's like the one big thing you want our listeners to take away from this?
I think it all comes back to that idea that AI is a tool. It's not good or bad. It's all about how we use it, how we adapt to it, how we
Yeah.
make sure it's working for us, not against us.
So it's about becoming AI whisperers, learning how to work with it and make it our partner.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, this whole AI thing will push us to be even more human, to
Yeah.
really focus on those things that make us special: our creativity, our empathy, our ability to connect with each other.
I love that idea. So tell our listeners, as you head out into this brave new world of AI, remember, stay curious, stay adaptable, and keep asking questions. You might just be the one who unlocks the next big AI breakthrough. Until next time, keep diving deep.